Thanks, Jason and Katrina. Amid all of this history happening today, the politicians aren't the only ones trying to be noticed. Protesters and supporters alike have their own plans to be seen and heard. Both sides of the political spectrum will be out in full force when President Trump arrives in Utica today.
That is peaceful, law-abiding, and nonviolent. Those three things are core values to our group. So we're going to be protesting across the street. We're going to be complying with any Secret Service rules or boundaries that they've set, but we want to let Congresswoman Claudia Tenney and President Trump know that the Trump agenda is not benefiting Central New York families.
Our group, the Central New Yorkers for Trump and Tenney, have been at this since, again, 2016. And when we heard the news, we were so happy, very, very happy. This is going to be a big fundraiser, obviously, for Claudia Tenney. But President Trump really didn't have to come to Central New York. He's trying to raise funds for candidates that he feels are going to make America great again. And Claudia Tenney is one of those candidates that he feels strongly about.
Both sides also say that they expect there to be a large turnout of people. We will have live coverage of all of today's events, including the rallies and protests that will be happening all over the area. Guys, back to you. Thanks, Katrina. President Trump is coming to Utica on Monday to host a fundraiser for incumbent Congresswoman Claudia Tenney. But we've learned that Trump and Tenney aren't the only ones hosting a fundraiser. Tenney's opponent, Anthony Brindisi, is going to have a fundraiser of his own at the exact same time. The president's event will be at a still undisclosed location. Brindisi's event will be at Chesterfield Restaurant in East Utica. But location isn't the only difference. The price for Brindisi's event is $10, while the price for Trump and Tenney's event is anywhere from $1,000 to $15,000. Now, Brindisi is reacting.
We're very proud that even though it's about money, and even though we're not taking any corporate contributions, we've actually been out fundraising Ms. Tenney on the power of small individual contributions like the one we're asking for Monday night, $10. They know that we're running a strong campaign, and that's why they got to bring in the president. But what they don't know is that when I'm elected, I'm going to work with the president when it's going to help benefit this area. And if he's doing something that's going to harm the people in this region, I'm going to stand up.
Congresswoman Tenney says that her event will sell out and that today is the deadline by which the Secret Service must have all of the names of those attending. We've reached out to Tenney's campaign and the White House and the state GOP trying to get an answer as to how many invitations have gone out, how many are attending, and where the venue is, but we are still waiting to hear back. Here on News Channel 2, we are going to be following this story all throughout the weekend, so make sure to tune in for more updates as more details about Monday are released. As for Monday, we will have full coverage all day long of the highly anticipated events from all different angles and political affiliations. Katrina, back to you. Thanks, Jason and Katrina. Governor Cuomo's newest bold statement is definitely causing quite the uproar between politicians and citizens of our country. Cuomo said, quote, "And look, the simple point is, all of this comes down to this. We are not going to make America great again. It was never that great. We have not reached greatness. We will reach greatness when every American is fully engaged." End quote. And if you don't believe me, here's a look at his speech.
And look, the simple point is all this comes down to this. We're not going to make America great again. It was never that great. We have not reached greatness. We will reach greatness when every American is fully engaged.
Cuomo said Trump wants to return to an era of greater sexism, racism, and intolerance toward immigrants. He says America has made great strides toward equality, but that it cannot consider itself great until there is full equality for all. Cuomo is seeking a third term this fall and is considered a potential White House contender in 2020. Many Republicans have pounced on Cuomo's comments, including Republican candidate for governor Mark Molinaro, the Dutchess County executive, who said this about the governor's comments.
America, with all of its imperfections, has always been great. For 242 years, it has been great. Its principles, its promise, its people, its potential has always been great. And we continue on this march, to continue to make and remake America every day. The governor knows that, should know that, and should apologize for what he had to say. America has always been great.
Our own Don Shipman will have a full interview with Molinaro on a wide range of topics tonight during the Live at 5 News Hour. Meanwhile, Senator Joe Griffo of Rome has also weighed in on Cuomo's comments. Griffo saying, quote, "The governor's comments regarding our nation were unfortunate, disappointing, and absurd. I understand that we are in the heat of a political season. However, despite his own personal opinion, political differences, and future aspirations, the governor's words, whether taken out of context or not, were not the appropriate way to describe this country," end quote. Oneida County Executive Anthony Picenti also released a statement saying, "Governor Cuomo's statement is disappointing, sad, and wrong. He owes this state and nation an apology. America is, has always been, and by the grace of God, will always be great and exceptional." We will have more on this story throughout our newscast today, including more reactions from local politicians. But for now, guys, back to you. Thanks, Jason and Katrina. President Trump's former campaign manager, Paul Manafort, has been found guilty on 8 counts of financial crimes. And Trump's former personal lawyer, Michael Cohen, has taken a plea deal. But both men are still facing federal prison. Manafort is convicted on 8 counts. He's found guilty of 5 tax fraud charges, 1 charge of hiding foreign bank accounts, and 2 counts of bank fraud. The jury deliberated for 4 days before announcing the verdict. Manafort faced a total of 18 counts, but the jury said it was deadlocked on the remaining 10 charges. 69-year-old Manafort faces an estimated 7 to 9 years in prison. Cohen pled guilty to 8 counts of tax evasion, bank fraud, and campaign finance violations. He acknowledged he paid hush money to porn actress Stormy Daniels and Playboy model Karen McDougal at the direction of the president. A deputy U.S. attorney said those payments were made to silence the women about affairs they said they had with Trump and to influence the election. Cohen faces up to 65 years in prison, though the prosecutors recommended a sentence of 4 to 5 years. Governor Andrew Cuomo reacted to this news on Twitter last night by tweeting the president, "At Real Donald Trump, your personal attorney confessed under oath to committing federal crimes at your direction. You may be a slick salesman, but not even you can divert from that. New York has had your number from the beginning, and now the rest of the world does too." The president has yet to respond back with a tweet. We will continue to follow this story for you, and we will provide you with the latest on how President Trump will decide to react. It is possible, however, that both men could avoid jail time with a presidential pardon. For now, Jason and Katrina, back to you. Jason and Katrina, if you're looking for something fun to do today, you might want to consider heading out to RFA Stadium in Rome tonight for Drums Along the Mohawk. The annual event attracts hundreds of spectators to RFA Stadium to watch drum corps from all over the country. This year's musical showcase is the 40th show in Central New York, and 8 groups from all over the country are coming to compete, so the competition is sure to be intense.
It's something like they've never seen before. You know, you can go to a marching band show, but this is a marching band show turned up to 11, essentially. Not just in terms of actual volume, but with the amount of talent, the amount of hard work, the countless number of rehearsal hours, the show days touring through all across the country. It really is marching music's major league.
So here's the event information. The gates open at 5 o'clock tonight and the show begins at 7 o'clock. And again, it's at RFA Stadium on Turn Street in Rome. Now, there is a free shuttle service from both St. John's Lutheran Church and St. Paul's Roman Catholic Church tonight if you can't find your own transportation to the show. So make sure to get on out to Drums Along the Mohawk tonight for what's sure to be a great time. Guys, back to you. Thanks, Katrina. A police department is a crucial part of any city, and its officers and their equipment are imperative. I had the pleasure of meeting up with one very special member of the Utica Police Department who has a new piece of protective equipment that is helping him better protect the community.